are now entering the Horror Sanctum.
Greetings, and welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John, Kellen, and TJ, and happy Halloween week. Also, happy season 4 to us. We started this show with Halloween, so whenever we do another Halloween week episode, that's going to be our new season. So welcome to season 4. Like I just said, it's kind of a tradition that we've been doing Halloween when we start a new season, so naturally we're going to do that again. And by my count, we're on Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers. Hashtag don't call it a comeback. But there's something else missing. What else have we done that's kind of become a tradition on Halloween? Yes. We're joined today by the one, the only, our pal, Vito friggin' Trigo. Vito, welcome back, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me back. Happy Halloween.
Always a pleasure. Always.
Oh, yeah.
So Halloween 4. If I recall correctly, Vito, I think you wanted to be on this one when we did do it, so here we are. If you're not familiar, we got you. Directed by Dwight H. Little, who gave us such classics as Free Willy 2, the live-action Tekken, Anaconda's The Hunt for the Blood Orchid, which, coincidentally, I saw in theaters when it came out for free.
Oh, wow.
It's the only time I've ever been in a theater, and the screen, it was blurry for like 20 minutes, and we had to get up and go find somebody, and they had to rewind it. Not a good movie to have to rewind. Anyways, all classics in their own right, probably. So, if you're unfamiliar with Halloween 4, 10 years after his original massacre, the comatose Michael Myers awakens on Halloween Eve and returns to Haddonfield to kill his 7-year-old niece. Can Dr. Loomis stop him?
Spoilers. He cannot stop Michael. Nothing can stop evil. Halloween to me is a series that I've always loved. It's like candy, right? I like them all. Some candy's better than others, but all Halloweens are at least like even bad candy, whether it's circus peanuts, Three Musketeers, whatever. Even the minor ones are fun. As a kid, it was always Jason and Michael Myers, and Nightmare on Elm Street was always at the bottom. It's kind of, as I've gotten older, I've kind of appreciated Nightmare on Elm Street a lot more now. Kind of have a love for it. It's kind of really, over the past years, I've got a fondness of it, especially part 2. I will say, for a long time, this movie was not one of my favorites. I didn't like it. I had issues with the mask, like a lot of people did. I had issues with kind of the difference in the style between 1 and 2. And this, how it was so different in the 80s and just that it wasn't a Carpenter film. It kind of changed, though. I watched it yesterday, and I really fucking love this movie, kind of, to be honest with you. It completely just, I don't know what it was. It's like I finally embraced what they were trying to do. I think the first thing I'll say starting out is, what a great fall intro this movie has, right? The opening shots, it feels like Halloween. There was an original script for this movie before this that John Carpenter was going to do. And it was one of the iterations he almost got attached to. And it was going to be Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace. And it was basically Michael Myers was like this he was like this evil entity of fear. And at the end of the script, I know that like these giant pumpkins are coming at people in a drive-thru. And there's like a 30-foot Michael Myers coming after people. Like it was out there. It was a really crazy script. Didn't happen, obviously. They decided to do this.
Wait, John, I heard one that kind of went the other direction though, that dealt with their childhood trauma and the town.
Yeah, that
and
too.
how it affected the town. Yeah, I heard about that one, which sounds oddly like Halloween Kills and Ends, which is kind of funny.
Right? That's okay. We'll get to my take, but that is exactly what I thought rewatching that today. There's even that Evil Dies Tonight moment when the yokels get together, right?
Yeah.
It kind of does.
And you killed Ted Hollister.
Yeah,
that's who it was. Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen this movie way too much. I know Ted Hollister.
But no, because I remember I said earlier, I was rewatching and said the original Evil Dies Tonight was born in Halloween 4.
That's got to be where it came from. You're right.
Yeah.
I never thought about it. I think just at the beginning, that opening scene when they're in the hospital and you're going to get Michael. It's hilarious. Michael's in a boiler room. Like they're keeping in a boiler room. That security guard is always kind of annoyed me a bit. I know he's a good character actor, but something about him is just so he's too. I don't know. I'm just like this guy's talking so much. Like these doctors, it's just a weird vibe. But I get why he's there. I still to this day though, when I see him come on screen, I'm like, fuck this guy.
Jesus has nothing to do with this place.
John, that guy's got the hardest part in the fucking movie.
Well, he's got to set it up.
Yeah, in less than
He does
2
have to
minutes,
set it up.
he's got to lay it all out with sacrificing any like natural instinctual thing that a human being would actually do,
Yeah.
and just be like walking, talking text on the screen.
He's the
basically.
exposition.
Yeah,
He's got to pull you in, and I can, and that's why I can kind of forgive it. I think I get that side of it. I will say Danielle Harris was such a good child actress. Like I don't know, obviously she got older. Many people can't stay good child actors, but she was so good in this, and she was so good in a lot of movies as a child actress. Loomis. He's crazy. There's obviously you can see on the face. So
he's
you
not
can see
that
on
crazy in this one. He's not that crazy in this one.
Well, he's not Halloween 5 crazy, but he's
Yeah, exactly.
crazy.
Exactly. There's a bridge between those two.
Well, he was drunk in
Okay.
5, yeah. But in this one, you see that
drunk in all of them.
in this one, you can see like the egg on his face, like it's almost like a makeup effect, looks like an egg, and that was like accidental. They didn't mean to do that. That was just the makeup effects. Did that? They kind of mess with the makeup too much. The whole gas station scene is cool. I like the way they do that. You see Michael without the mask.
What's funny is because he got pissed off that it looked like a fried egg, and then
Yeah.
he made them do less of it because he didn't want to be in makeup. But
Oh.
since they took different takes throughout the whole thing,
Yeah.
even in the same scene, you'll see the makeup change from one iteration to the other.
Yeah,
But-
it
but-
does. You even see it in the wreck. You notice that like they immediately take that off on another shot when he's like, if you haven't seen him in 4 hours, I will. Or it gets a
Right.
different look. Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
What TJ, the funny thing about that is like the earliest interviews I remember, which is kind of funny. They were being really honest. They said that it was Donald Pleasance was looking at dailies with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's the one that said it looked like an egg.
Yeah.
I think
And
you're
then
right.
then he got after them. So it went over Donald's head. He's like, "What? Oh no!"
Oh, it was the girlfriend. I wonder
It was the
because I
girlfriend,
remember
yeah.
hearing about that. Yeah, I love the crazy preacher guy that picks him up. I love that whole dynamic. It's quirky. I like the whole idea of the end of the movie. Well, the middle to the end of the movie, they're being locked in the house. Basically, you don't realize Michael's there. He is there. That whole thing is so suspenseful. Jamie being a kid in this movie makes it so much scarier because I just imagine like my niece being in this situation. Like girls that age are supposed to be watching like Bluey, and she's having to like survive Michael Myers. That makes this so much scarier. I think that's this movie works is there's so many action like set pieces. There's so many like practical effects, stunts. Rachel does really good in the movie. Her cousin, or her cousin, that she really helps to protect her. There's a lot of really cool scenes like on the rooftop of the house, the car scene at the end. Even the boyfriend Brady though, like I liked how he what I liked about him was he obviously cheated. He was kind of a douche, but he died trying to save them. Like he literally was trying to get them upstairs, and I thought that was so cool to write a character that was like not just one dimensional. Like he was still a good dude. He was just a stupid kid,
John,
know. But
John, can I piggyback on that for a second?
yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. In the span of a minute, though, he becomes like the worst character, and then he redeems himself because he was actually willing to leave the house without Jamie. The character, he's like, when he tries to shoot the door, it's like she wants to survive. We gotta get out of here. It's like you're leaving the kid behind,
Right.
But then, like within a minute, they're up the stairs, and he tries to fight out with with Michael and give them a running chance.
Yeah.
So within a minute, he's like, "Fuck this guy." Oh, okay, he's not that bad.
Well, and I think that's just like he's a kid.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you think about that situation, how nervous you would be. And like when he's fumbling with the shotgun, like that. I mean, if you're 17 and Michael Myers is coming after you, that would happen probably.
Oh yeah.
I really kind of appreciate the mask more now because if you think about it, the reason he didn't have the original mask is in this one, he steals a mask from the hardware store in 1988. It's a different mask, right? So when you really break it down, it makes sense that the mask is different. Even though it doesn't look as cool, everybody loves the mask from
It should
H1.
technically
You
be
know?
different every movie, except
Yeah,
the second one.
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, and I think for so long that was like a hill I died on was the mask. And I think yesterday I was like, you know what? I get it. I see why they did that, and it's still Michael. He still acts like Michael.
Well,
Um,
well, John, remember that there was a production issue with the mask. It came in wrong.
right.
It came, that's why they got the blooper that's later on in the movie with the hair and the
Oh, the Ben Tramer.
yeah,
They
yeah. They
come
had
in
to,
looking like the old Kirk mask before Tommy Wallace had, spray painted it and dyed the
yeah,
hair.
yeah. So they messed it all up. So they had to paint it over again, and they cut the eyes open more, and then they did the hair.
But there's the one scene in the school where
Yeah,
he throws Loomis,
yeah.
Yeah.
where it's
That's
still the
what they
old
all.
mask.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
what it all
pink
looked like. Yeah.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the weird one when they accidentally left that on set and it was picked up by the prop guy on accident. I think that the ending is the only thing. I love the chase sequence at the end. I love that. I love the way they do it. I think it's funny, like when he smacks his mask on the windshield. That's just
Yeah.
something about that so funny the way he does it.
That's
Um,
funny.
I just didn't like. I don't think it's a bad idea making Jamie the transfer of evil to her. Like I don't think that's a bad idea. I just like when I watch it again, I don't love it as much as like I know it's shocking and I see why they did it. That's my only real pick with the movie is that that ending is just such a downer, you
That
know?
goes back to Halloween Ends too. And then I
Yeah.
wrote in my notes, I said, "Do we owe Halloween Ends an apology?" Because this is the same movie almost. It's the same situations. The transfer of evil goes to her. The
Yeah.
transfer of evil went to Corey, but we
Yeah.
shit on that. Why is that? What's the difference here?
Whoa,
I,
Jay,
There is no difference. They both
I-
suck and we're stupid.
Shut up, you.
We'll get
I
there.
don't shit
We'll
on
get
it.
to
think-
you.
I
I
don't
think-
shit on it.
I
Shut
think-
up, you.
I think that people have reverence for these because
Too much
they're
dirt.
more close to the original. And I think back then there's a lot more forgiveness for like I do think there's forgiveness for nostalgia. I really do. But overall, I will say I really like the movie. I think yes, it does have issues. Yes, Michael's invincible, but he's always invincible. Yes, he can teleport like Nightcrawler. He always has. Yeah, so I want to see what you guys think, but I for me, I really, really like it. It's an A plus. So
Vito's revving up.
oh no.
Well,
Oh.
you had to go. You just had to go just give your damn opinion, didn't you? Just be like, oh, I shucks. You got to ruin my flow. I was in a nice, calm place. Me and John. So John, I've been like Xing out all my points because you've been making a lot of my points. I've been like kind of like going like
Sorry.
this. Like, I was like, son of a bitch, John. I'm never talking to you before we do a thing like this ever again. All right.
The
That's what-
DVD, you mentioned that you want to talk about the DVD for sure.
Well, no, only because the DVD was so honest.
Yeah.
Those fuckers are being so honest. Like the blooper with the mask. You know when he throws Loomis.
Hmm.
Now, at first I was like, come on, you didn't fuck that up. But then they mentioned that they screwed up 6 hours of footage because they didn't notice that Loomis was wearing a hat randomly
Right. Yeah.
because they were all so tired. And Loomis, or Donald Pleasance is so old that it was like, he just forgot to take off his hat. And they did 6 hours. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, now I believe that you fuckers could forget that maybe you mixed up masks. You just fucking when you guys are tired, don't.
Well, they were
put the
filming all
camera
night.
down.
Right.
Yeah, put the camera down. Stop. But to go up my point, like I was talking to Jay about this a while back. I think Halloween 4 was the first thing. My first introduction to Michael Myers. So I saw Halloween 4 before I saw 1 and 2, and all that business. So it's actually near and dear to my heart because that was my first introduction to Michael Myers. And,
Well, it was a reintroduction. That's a good entry point.
Yeah.
Watching
yeah.
4 before the first 3 is such a killing move, by the way.
Yeah. his is pure ignorance and the fact that whatever. Okay, mine was my sisters were pure like get together with friends and watch horror films. So I didn't have that kind of like entry into horror films. It was more like it would come on television and be like this, like oh shit, that type of thing. You watch it in like little bits, So that's why I said like Halloween 4 was the first one, and then Danielle Harris kind of like sucked me in because she I was a child, she's a child, so there's an instant like like you're following her along with it. There's that connection there, and then rewatching it later as like an adult, like even watching it today, I got really emotional whenever she would start crying, start getting all like like I was like, oh shit, man, get out of there, no, move, like fuck Brady, move, I was like very like which Jamie had the idea. She was like yanking fucking Rachel's arm off. She's like, fuck him, he was cheating on you, let's get out of here. So but I mean Danielle Harris was like there's a lot of connection with that. But then when we're watching it, the point of the movie that I really latch on to is the sister relationship. Those two together, I mean that's the point of the movie where when I watch it again, I'm like, you can get past the fact that they wrote the script in 11 days. It was a shady. It wasn't a shady production, but it was like kind of like a rush production. It
was the first draft of the script.
Yeah,
that's all they had time for.
Yeah, and so you have to like factor that into it, and they're just trying to like budgetary constraints and everything like that. So they're just trying to get the film done. So, but there's like the sister relationship really makes me look past a lot of some of those like points of being like and also the fact that when you really think of the jump in logic that people really wanted to see Michael so bad that they could look over the fact that Loomis got blown to hell in Halloween 2, and we saw Michael burnt to a fucking crisp at the end of Halloween 2, that they wanted to see him back so bad that they would just jump over this logic and be like, yeah, we fuck all of that. We just want to see Michael again, burnt face and the fact that
would they have
Michael's
still been full on body wrapping him 10 years later?
Actually, I was listening to the auto commentary today, and Danielle Harris brought that up. She's like, "Why did they wrap his face up?" It's like, because they just want to keep it a mystery, That's all. But that's the
right.
They could have just done the whole. They should have just filmed him like, like not never showing his face. Just like hands, yada yada, darkness over the face. They should have done that shit, like they did for the rest of the movie when they realized this is our mask.
Right.
Okay, let's keep him far in the background. Let's use reflections. Let's try not to put the damn mask on as much as possible.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's like that. There's a sister relationship, and well, and I have a theory. Here's a theory. I think Dr. Hoffman in the beginning was a bad guy. There's something about it, man. There was something about he's signing it off on the night before Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And he also has this creepy ass moment when he's like looking, he like goes up to the ambulance and looks in and just looks at Michael as it drives off. And I'm just like, this is some creepy, this is some little like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Why are you taking this like, which also you go to.
Well, he said maybe Donald Pleasance can just die now, basically. Dr. Loomis.
Yeah, but he was saying that to the doctor inside, with being like, I don't care about Loomis, but maybe it's like, if they went further on, maybe this was like him, maybe like testing out, like if I put him back out there, like the Dr. Satan or whatever in Halloween 1, it reminded me of that, where I was like, man, this could have been a place to go, which makes me wonder how much like what ideas that they had.
It would have made more sense for him to be the man in black cult guy from 6 than the one guy that was just randomly in 1 for one scene and played by a different person.
Actually, I put that as a note. Hoffman should have been Wynn.
Yep.
Or bring back Hoffman later in 6. Yeah. Right. So either way, it's like that works that way. And like I said, when I watch it again, I love it. Yeah, so I forgive a lot of it because of the relationships and the good performances in it. The characters that make it. I mean, Sheriff Meeker is the only cop in fucking horror history that does not need to see like the town half burnt before he gets on board with it. Because like when he comes to the station, he kind of like, I don't believe that. But then like the deputies all look scared when he says like 6 bodies. He's like, the deputies are like, no, wait, man.
He's got that New York Vito Trigo energy.
He's like, he just takes a second. He's like, let's get to it. And he's on board, and he's proactive, and he's trying to help out, and he's there. Man, Bo Star, man. I was like, Bo Star is Sheriff Meeker. I'm like, fuck, we needed more Meeker. He could have taken over the series for Loomis, you know. But yeah, that's my shout out there. Like, I love Halloween 4. So about points because John, I agree with a lot of John's points. So I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I will say that when it's not scary, it does lean more into suspense action territory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we got explosions. We got Loomis like capping off like a motherfucker.
It's great stunts. Really good stunts.
I think it had the biggest budget to date at that point of any of the Halloween movies, and it really shows.
The rooftop sequence, which was actually they recreated the roof in a cornfield. That
was only 6 feet tall.
Yeah. A lot of creative stuff. You know, explosions. You know, and like I said, the sister doesn't get enough credit as being like a really great final girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Because she's human, she takes on, she like puts aside her bullshit to take care of her foster sister and goes the entire way, you know. So
a 25-year-old, 17-year-old.
Were they cousins? I forget.
They're a foster family.
That's right, foster. I couldn't remember if they were cousins or not. Okay, yeah.
Because Jamie,
I always thought she was kind of. I always thought she kind of sounded a little bit like a dick though when she's like, I already told you, Jamie, you're not really my sister.
But she says it doesn't mean I don't feel it, but that doesn't mean I don't love you any less.
Right.
But she's being realistic because maybe she's going to be out of the house within a year and she's like, I'm not your sister, but I still love you. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe she's like blunt and she's just kind of like, I'm not your sister, but I love you.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, come on. She takes on Michael Myers.
She does. She does show it. She doesn't
flinch. She doesn't flinch. She goes after her, especially that rooftop sequence where she's like, I don't know if I can get down. Try, you know, it's like, come on. Tough love.
I would say something, but I don't want to ruin 5 for Kellen, who I know is not going to watch it till next year. All right. So I love this movie. I've always loved this movie. I always loved the ending of this movie, even though it's very clear, especially as I've watched every kind of special feature there is out there about the Halloween franchise, especially 4. So let's just take a little backstory to how we got to this 4 thing, right? So John Carpenter got paid $10,000 to direct this. At that point in time, his biggest movie. Before that was just $100,000. Assault on Precinct 13. Which impressed Irwin Yablans, who's one of the producers, who hooked him up with Mustafa Akkad, and Mustafa Akkad was the money guy. They ended up doing a $320,000 budget when it was originally $300,000 budget on that first movie, just to pay Donald Pleasance $20,000 to basically get it made with some kind of name character. It was a wild hit, made, close to $80 million on its first run on a $320,000 budget. Nobody planned for it to ever have a sequel. And then John Carpenter got into a whole issue because he promised to make The Fog for Irwin Yablans, and then ended up trying to make it, and eventually did make it after some litigation with Warner Brothers. But as a part of an agreement reached in court, he had to produce and write a sequel to Halloween. So he was strong-armed into it. He tried to make the best of it. He got really drunk, wrote the script, and it basically was just, he wrote himself into a corner with the whole sister thing. And the rest of the history of this franchise and trying to be reset again was all around how to get around the whole sister gimmick when you couldn't get Jamie Lee back for like 3 movies. Which is why they killed him off. They kill off Michael Myers. I mean, that dude burnt to a crisp. Let's be real. It was at the time one of the hottest and longest stunt burns in history. It actually burned scars into the forearms of Dick Warlock, because at that point in time, the burn suits had zippers, and it got so hot, the zipper burned into his arm, even through multiple layers. So that dude was dead. Donald Pleasance is dead. I mean, it is a miracle that, that they're coming back at all with just a little egg on the face, which is why they tried to totally do a whole series reboot as an anthology thing with 3, which I still think would have worked if they had never made part 2. And I love part 3 as well, but we've already talked about part 3. So then Mustafa Akkad, after part 2 and part 3, eventually bought back the rights, and Deborah Hill and John Carpenter sold all of their ownership of the franchise to Mustafa Akkad. Irwin Yablans, I believe, also followed suit after, not really liking the direction with part 3, and they had since lost their distribution deal with Universal. So Mustafa Akkad bought the rights off of everybody to own the whole franchise, basically. And it's because of Mustafa Akkad we have the Thorn trilogy for all of the mess that it is. A glorious mess. I still like it. But part 4 was meant to bring back Michael Myers, reboot, and create a franchise that Mustafa Akkad could basically cash in on. Which at that point in time in 1988 was already kind of the back end of the slasher boom. The slasher boom was just kind of starting with part 2, and then through the peak years, they'd already killed off the main character they could do it with, and then kind of killed off the concept of a franchise continuing anyway by trying to do this failed anthology thing that was also a disappointment financially. So the fact that they brought it back at all, and it was as much of a success as it was of course the thing that made them immediately make a half as good movie a year later in like 7 months, which I didn't even know existed until I was a senior in high school, because no video store near me carried part 5. They only carried 4, and then it jumped to 6. And since 6 didn't ever say it was 6, it was just the Curse of Michael Myers, I always just assumed it was the follow-up to 4, and I was confused as hell as a kid trying to make sense from 4 to 6 without ever watching 5 till I was in high school, and finally found a video store that had 5. So that was my history with it. I was always like, 6 is crazy because who even is this girl and what's even going on? So that's my history with that. But 4, Danielle Harris, let's just give it up for her. She was one of the great child actors, and is so precious and adorable, and you want to root for her. You don't want anything horrible to happen to that sweet little girl. She was 11 playing 7, so I mean, she's always been tiny and young, and even as a tiny and young thing, she's always played younger, which is why when she's 31, she can still play a high school student in Rob Zombie's remake. Something happened with her as she got older, and somehow got, I think, less good of an actor. I don't know how that happens. Some people are better child actors than they are adult actors. I mean, but you can have your opinions on that. I did like her okay in one of the Hatchet movies. I think Hatchet 2. But
I mean, that could be like an area of like, I can phone this in. I mean, because there are some actors that
that happens.
They can kind of phone it in, and they can still get
She wasn't phoning it in 4. She was acting her ass off as this little girl.
She had a peak, bro. She had a peak.
It's probably a little overthinking too, as she got older and then she took lessons and saw.
It's the Haley Joel Osment effect.
It's not as pure, or Hayden Panettiere. I would consider her in that category too.
Right. What happened?
Haley Joel Osment is still a great actor.
He's still good, yeah.
He's funny now. Now he's like a parody.
But he's great. Of the roles you see him in, he's great.
He is good.
People like Haley Joel Osment or like Jake Gyllenhaal and like Leo DiCaprio, they're not, they're exceptions to the rule, I think. Most child actors don't grow to be great like they are usually.
That's true.
It still blows my mind that Gyllenhaal is the son in City Slickers.
What?
Yeah, he's like pops his shoulder in and out of place at the party in the beginning. Like,
that's him? I don't think I haven't seen City Slickers before. I
love that movie so much.
I always liked. Are you in your 40s? Are you in your 40s?
I'm 41, sir.
You should watch City Slickers.
It's wonderful.
I've seen City Slickers.
Now's the time.
Watch it
right?
again
Many
now.
times.
Watch
I haven't
again
seen it
now.
in years.
It hits different now.
Yeah,
Well, we are the City Slickers now, right?
That's us.
Yeah.
We're Billy Crystal, basically.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, maybe I do need to. I always liked Curly's Gold or whatever the second one was better than the first one when I was a kid. But I just like Jack Palance, even his terrible Dracula from the 70s. Anyway, Halloween 4, man, I think they had a really great idea for a one-off movie, kind of like the first Halloween, and they had no plan to continue it past what happens when the evil gets transferred. Because who wants to watch a little 7-year-old girl just killing people, right? We even get the 15-year skip ahead from the first scene in Halloween to where you're not watching a 6-year-old kill but once, and we've already kind of seen that. And then they take away spoiler alert, they take away the kill that we seemingly end with, kind of like another future Halloween series of sequels end up doing, which kind of just diminishes the effect of it after the fact. But they were good at doing that in that stretch of a few films. But the shock value of it, Donald Pleasant screaming, no, 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 trying to shoot the little girl. I mean, he's good at almost killing a lot of innocent people. Well, I guess she wasn't terribly innocent. She did presumably just kill a woman. But
TJ, can I piggyback for a sec?
Yeah.
All those great moments, it just reminds me how good the cast is overall, because everybody commits in those moments.
Right.
Like when Meeker comes, he takes the gun, he's like, holy shit. When Rachel comes up, they all throughout the entire movie.
This movie's very well acted to be an 80s slasher movie. I mean,
everybody commits, in every scene. So it's very, even the rednecks. I mean, all of them are like, well, what about his kid? He lost his kid 10 years ago. It's like, we're not going to do that. It's like, we're going to get him. It's like,
right. They take ownership. They take ownership of their town and trying to defend it against people. I mean, you respect the little bit that you get to see of the people. It feels like it's the most fall feeling of all the movies, probably because of that first intro sequence.
Yeah.
Even though none of those are pumpkins, they're all just big squashes that they painted because they filmed this movie in July.
No, just leave it alone, TJ. Leave it alone.
It still looks like pumpkins, and I'm
just saying, leave it alone.
But
don't kill it.
I do hate the mask. I don't hate the mask as bad as 5. I think 5 is definitively the worst mask. I do kind of like how they put the pantyhose over the eyes, because I've always thought Michael Myers is more creepy when he is that shape of evil. You only get a sense, but you don't get the eyes. And I have one. I have a mask that has the nylon and the eyes. I just wish that the features of the original mask were a little more in that mask, because it's just such a generic thing. But to John's point, it is a new mask. It makes sense. He could have pulled any kind of thing. And would they have had in the town where the horrible murders happened with the murderer mask? It'd be kind of in poor taste to have exactly that same murderer's mask. They'd probably outlaw it. They'd probably outlaw it in that town, at least.
Well, TJ, it's kind of like they took it from like a dollar store. This is like a dollar store.
It looks like a dollar store, man. Yeah. It's like a little pharmacy, dollar store, 5
But
and
the
dime.
first movie was like, Spirit, in quality, if you want to look at it,
Right. So that's all I got to say. What does Kellen have to say with his first viewing of this masterpiece?
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, 1988, listed on Google as a horror indie film, which I thought was weird, but that's how it's listed when you Google it. Comes in an hour.
Technically
and 32
true,
minutes.
because Mustafa Khan made it independently.
And $5 million budget, wasn't it, TJ?
Yes.
I think so. Yep.
39% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I will be honest, I did not hate this movie. I really hated it. This was trash. My first note. Note. Trash. This movie is trash. This movie, made me hate every other Halloween movie, and I refuse to watch any of them ever again because of how horrible this movie and what a disservice they did.
But you got to watch one every year.
I'm not going to watch. No, you won't see me next year on Halloween. Kellen will be absent. All you'll have is this mask hanging on a pole in the chair, and you'll be like, "Let's cut to Kellen." And
you think this one's bad,
we'll probably like that take
watch 5.
No, I refuse. I refuse. Halloween Resurrection is a Oscar-worthy masterpiece compared to this hot garbage.
Whoa, you
I would take Busta Rhymes as the
slut.
take Busta Rhymes as the hero.
You venereal disease slut! How dare you? How fucking you pestilence walking, talking son of a bitch!
What the hell is this, Vito? What the hell is this? What is that? That is not Michael Myers. That's Timu Michael Myers, and Timu didn't even exist in '88. What that is somebody that went to a Halloween shop and said, "Oh, that's too expensive. I can make one from memory." And then they did, and it looked like someone shit out a mask of Michael Myers. And that was the best they could do, and it was too late because it was already October 31st at 7 p.m. and they had to go ahead and go. And you insinuating
open your mind.
Oh, this is a dollar store mask. Are you insinuating that the first Michael Myers went to a nicer store? Then he was like, "Oh, I got to get a quality mask for my
was
first
better in the
murders."
70s. The quality was better in the 70s.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
That makes no sense. Makes no sense. Really, seriously. You ever went to a different store and thought, "Oh, look at
I'm going to die on the hill that John left related to that mask because this is an abomination." When I saw this to make this picture, you know what I said? I said in my best Marlon Brando voice, I said, "Look what they did to my boy. Look what they did to my boy." This is an abomination. If this doesn't take you out of the movie, so let's just look at the lore of Michael Myers in general through the history of the movies, the ones that I've seen. Is he supernatural or just a human? Because the supernatural aspect absolutely destroys everything about him. Because the horror behind Michael Myers.
No, wait, no. Back up the phone. Did he not get shot 6 times at the end of part 1?
Adrenaline is a hell of a drug, and 50 Cent got shot 9 times, and he's worth $500 million. So I don't care about getting shot 6 times. He could still walk that off, and it makes sense for him to be
and fell off a balcony of a house too.
I jumped off the set.
He's not on meth, dude. Come on.
At 19, I took a running jump off the balcony of my second-story apartment and walked back in because guess what? A second-story fall is not that bad.
Oh my God!
Because I've done it. Anyway,
he's always been supernatural. Don't you be playing that bullshit?
He's not always been supernatural.
He's always been supernatural.
No. Jason is supernatural. Freddy is supernatural. He was a child.
He's always been supernatural.
Oh, really? In the clown costume? In the clown costume, he was supernatural. His mom was a witch and his dad was a warlock, and they had a baby, but the only one that had
maybe they did. I don't know. At this point, I'm about to agree with that over you just saying, "Oh, he wasn't supernatural freaking in the first one." Are you kidding me?
He wasn't. He was not supernatural.
He was supernatural.
He was not.
He was.
That's so stupid. That's so stupid.
That's not stupid. He got shot 6 times and he freaking got walked away.
As someone coming from the South with one of the worst education systems, I would expect somebody from New Jersey to be a little bit smarter.
Well, motherfucker, I fucking got a fuck you in your fucking face.
So to my point, he was a child. No supernatural powers. He kills his sister. Then he ends up in a psych ward. At what point did they allow Michael into the weight room during his 1 hour of PT time? He's supernaturally strong. I'll forgive that because that's one of the most iconic scenes in all the movies when he lifts the person up to the door and stabs them with a knife.
Did you just admit that he is supernatural?
No, I didn't admit that he's supernatural.
You said right there. It's like, you're totally cool with him being supernaturally strong, though he didn't go to the weight gym.
I said I can forgive him being strong.
You can forgive that, but you're totally getting up from 6 shots. You're like, oh my God, it's adrenaline.
No, and if you will shut your face for 2 seconds and let me prove my point.
You're saying ridiculous.
This is my point. Michael Myers is 10 times more terrifying as a human man. When you make him supernatural, the fear goes away. Because in real life, what is more terrifying than humans, than humanity? We are absolutely terrifying as a species. So when you take the supernatural part away from him and you make him just a man in Halloween 1 and 2, where he burns to death, and you make that his ending, or even if you go to Halloween before Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, if you go to that and you just have him as a normal man who happens to be strong, it's more terrifying to think that a man could be roaming the streets that laser focused on killing a certain person. That anybody
But
that
a
gets
man could go down to John 6 times.
it's 50 Cent got shot 9. Ignore the 6 times. He was still high on adrenaline, and adrenaline makes you do crazy things.
He was high on adrenaline. That was the thing. He was just
women
do
pick
the double
cars
tap.
off of their babies.
Double tap. Move forward.
Okay.
Women pick cars off of babies with adrenaline. Making him supernatural was such a dumb take because it takes away everything that made Michael Myers special. It made him just another run-of-the-mill 80s slasher, like I said, like Freddy Krueger or like Jason Voorhees. He's no longer special. He's no longer the embodiment of the evil of man. So when you make it supernatural in 4, you take all the fear away from Michael Myers because now this can't happen. There's not going to be a guy roaming around who's gonna get hit by a car, folded in half. Which, by the way he flew off that truck was stupid. Like he went folded in half, but when he flies through the air, he's stiff as a board. He looked like one of the kids from Weapons flying through the air. The girl was fun. That's the one thing I will take from this movie. And you are right. The acting was really well for a slasher film. But between the mask, between the storyline, and another thing, the sheriff, that is one thing that I did take away from this. I was fully expecting that horror movie trope where the sheriff is like, no, it's fine, as bodies are raining down around him. But no, he was like, nope, not having that happen again, and gets on board. But beyond that, this movie is just trash. It feels like what they decided to do was they decided they were so pissed because everybody was mad that Michael Myers wasn't in 3 that they're like, oh, you want Michael? Here's your Michael. Here you go. Have the worst iteration possible of somebody that you love.
I feel like I'm in a terrible threesome with you and John.
And if he is supernatural, let's say he is supernatural, has supernatural, like Captain America. Why did he struggle getting over the top of the roof? Make that make sense. He literally like throws an arm over and he's like trying to throw a leg over. And then another part that made no sense. If he's like hell-bent on killing somebody, he's hanging on top of the car. Explain to me how he was holding onto the roof with the knife in his hand, because his free hand he was using to reach in and try to grab her. And then when he gets thrown off of the truck, he lands on the ground holding the knife. What was he holding onto the car? What was he holding onto the roof? Was the knife stabbed in? No, because they showed his hand sideways. Make any of it make sense. This was poorly shot. It was poorly edited. It was poorly put together, and it was poorly thought out. This was such a bad movie that it has put an awful taste in my mouth. Not unlike Halloween Ends as far as Michael Myers goes. And I will absolutely never watch this horrifying garbage ever again. I'm done.
Well, I don't know how I can follow that. Also, there's probably not anybody listening at this point, but I will give my notes as well. First of all, I apologize to those who do like the film, as Kellen went nuclear on everybody. I'm going to be honest, and we've recently talked about me being a peacemaker. I'm kind of the same way here. If I'm being honest, 4, 5, and 6 are a blur to me. They're not something I grew up with. They're not something I ever watched. I honestly have maybe seen each one time besides 4, which I watched again today for at least the second time, start to finish. 100% agree with the opening. I remember that opening as a kid, so when I see that, I still kind of get that. It's kind of like, it's not quite October weather here yet in Nashville, but when it starts getting a little cool and you can open your windows and turn on Leprechaun, I know that's a specific movie, but with that cool air blowing through your house, through the windows, and watching a movie like Leprechaun or Puppet Master or even this, it just brings you to Halloween. It brings you in, and it feels nice. This is not a great movie. You can love this movie. I 100% understand why you might love this movie. You especially. You are tied to this personally.
Yeah.
John, you've always liked this movie. I knew that coming in. None of us are shocked at what Kellen said. But he's not 100% wrong on everything either, right? The truck scene is one of my biggest notes. First of all, how the hell does he get on the back of that truck, knock out 4 dudes, and no one inside the cab of the truck has any idea what's going on?
I've always wondered that. They must be deaf and blind.
After that, I didn't pay attention to the hands on the roof. He was stiff. He probably had giant shoulder pads on because it was a low budget movie. So I can forget.
He 100% did, because it was a different actor. They changed from Tom Morga to George Wilbur, halfway through the shooting, and George, the guy they changed to, was a smaller guy, so they actually did put shoulder pads in there, which is why he looks so
you can
stiff.
tell.
Yeah.
And not watching this movie multiple times and knowing the things that I know, watching it again today, one of my other notes is what John put on. The mask. The mask is terrible, but it makes sense because it's a brand new mask. But also, TJ, in my notes, I said, like, why would you still sell any type of mask like that? Same thing with the Scream movies. Like, if this happened, it's bad taste. I know there's Charles Manson memorabilia and stuff that you can get, but if you think about other serial killers, there really isn't a lot unless you go like Redbubble maybe or create your own thing. So why would they continue to have this mask? It was a cheap knockoff, but I've always hated that mask. But watching it again today and rationalizing a little bit, okay, I get it. It's a new mask. I wish he kept the bandages on the whole time.
Yeah.
That was very Friday 13th Part 2 for me with the bag.
Yeah.
I always love that version of Jason. Him as a fucking burn victim going on a rampage is a lot creepier than that mask. They could have done that and then maybe introduce the mask later.
Well, maybe when he runs into those kids, like pulling the prank.
Yeah.
Like they pull the prank, he runs on those kids, then he gets the mask back.
That was one of my favorite scenes of the movie, is because you think you see him, but we're watching as an audience. We know that's not him, right? But then there's another one. What, like Cult of Myers, like they could do that, like, you know, Cult of Chucky, and how Chucky, the franchise, has evolved with multiple Chuckies now. They could have done that. Which, you know, if his evil is spreadable, which it is, then why not make a movie like that and kind of have multiple ones at the same time? That would have been neat, right? It was well acted all around. But my biggest notes were how much it reminded me of Ends. It reminded me so much of Ends. So David Gordon Green, call us because we want to talk to you about this, sir. Like, you and Danny McBride, whoever else helped write that movie, I want to talk to you for a second because it was very, very similar situations in both films. And my biggest thing is, like I've already touched on, is like, do we owe Halloween Ends an apology? We know Kellen doesn't, but Vito, I don't recall
Ends
how you
or
and John
kills?
felt about it, but you three who
Both,
liked
they're
it,
awful.
you three who liked it, I
Why
mean,
can't you just be nice for a second? Just be nice and just shut up.
he can't. But John, you hated Ends, right?
No, I love it. I love Ends.
You love it. Did anybody
I
hate
love
it?
Ends too. I love Ends.
I also love
Ends.
Ends.
Okay, so that tracks then. You love that. You love this
I
one,
like it.
makes
I
sense.
like it more in rewatches than I did the first time I watched it.
I don't dislike any Halloween film spoilers. I like them all.
I'm similar. I have gradations. There are some that are definitively worse than others.
Yeah, well, you're not going to like what I'm going to say next. If I'm watching Halloween movies by how much I like them, 4 is going to go somewhere towards the bottom. And that's, yes, underneath at least Rob Zombie's first Halloween. Maybe not 2, but it is.
Jay, can I say something here?
Yes, you can.
You are a gentleman, sir. When you right now, you're going about your sucking, you're saying these things that you're disagreeing with it, you don't like it. You're going about it as a gentleman. Not this scallywag up here in the corner.
I've tried to rub off on him. It just doesn't stick.
A whole room says they
I'm
love
passionate.
it. A whole
I'm an
room
astronaut
says
and a
they
gentleman.
love it. And you're like, trash. Oh, please, just step on my balls while you're at it, all right? Come on.
I think the most negative word I even have on my notes is Ends. So, but my thing is, like, you guys know me, like I for the most part like everything, and I love, like we just talked about Heretic, and Kellen said he would never watch it again. That's a 5-star movie for me, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my
Kellen liked
favorite movies
Heretic.
last year.
Wait.
He might have liked it, but he just said he wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah, I really like Heretic. It's not that I wouldn't watch it. It's
The
just not a
Exorcist
movie
2?
that I'm gonna go back to on purpose. Like if somebody else was like, "Hey, let's watch Heretic," I'll watch it. It was good. It's the same thing with like The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense doesn't have high rewatchability for me because I know the ending. Once you know the twist or the ending, it kind of kills the fun for me. I know not everybody's like that. Some people just enjoy movies.
I get that.
Okay, no, we're talking about
Hugh
Hugh Grant.
Are stupid.
Hugh Grant
that
movie.
I love.
Okay.
Hugh Grant movie. I made my wife watch it for the first time because she's.
I thought you meant Exorcist 2. I was about to be like, yo.
Oh no, that's a piece of shit. No,
I was about to be like, yo, what is up right now?
I do want
it
Kellen
over there.
to watch that.
That's
I can see it from here in a still
what
but that's my thing. Like we all like movies that other people don't like. We like movies that people think are shit. We hate movies that people love. So that's why I try to stay true. But this was my second full time watching it, and it's fine. It's there.
Yeah.
That nostalgia's not there for me. I'm not looking forward to 5 and 6 again. I think on our last episode I said that
did all of us who liked it watch it as a kid and have nostalgia for it?
I didn't like this movie until like recently. I mean, I always enjoyed it, but this is the first time I've really loved it, honestly, recently.
I watched this as like a 10-year-old, so it gets me in.
Well, my memory of the first time I watched it, I will say I liked it a little bit better than that memory.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Yeah. So anybody else have anything before we go around, close up shop, and get that 0 from Kellen? All right, I'll go first. I gave it a 2.5. It's on my shelf. It's part of a franchise that I love, so it's something I can watch. After watching it again and paying attention, it's one I can revisit at some point. I'm not completely gonna put.
There's some great special features for this thing.
Yeah. But again, it's the bottom of the totem pole for me for the Halloween franchise, so I give it a 2.5. John,
I'll say about the supernatural thing, and I'll just say this: I've always kind of looked at Michael, and I think in the newer movies it sort of hinted to this. I've always looked at Michael like a mix between something supernatural and human. Like his body keeps going when he shouldn't. Maybe there's something in there that's unexplained. And I think the less you know, the better. You don't have to really demystify that. So that's kind of why I can justify like the teleporting and the unstoppable nature. It's vague intentionally, and I just kind of leave it at that. I can understand the argument though. And the truck defense, same thing. They're driving fast. In my mind, it's like they don't hear it. He's stabbing them.
They should feel it, though. They should.
He's
a big boy.
Wait, Jay. It does depend on speed, because you could just take it as a bump and going around like that. You might not be able to hear as much. Now they should have did some cutaways and maybe like the driver being like,
Well, here's the thing. I wear hearing aids. I can't hear for shit. I would have heard that.
I would say overall, though,
hey, Spaceman.
It's. I really want to give this a 4.
Be honest, John. Give it what the fuck you want to give it.
You know what? I'm gonna have to go 4
because I'm gonna change the curve.
I'm gonna go 4 stars because I really think this movie is really as good as a lot of people are saying, and I think the stunts and everything in it. Yeah, I'm going 4 out of 5. I really like it. Yeah,
do it. It's not gonna matter when Kellen comes around. But that's you give it what you want. All right, Vito, what you got?
I give it a 5. Give it a 5.
Is it a 5 or is that a 5 to counter whatever's coming next?
It's a 5 to counter. All right, it's a 5 to counter. This is like electoral votes, man. I'm like trying to push it to 4.
What if the whole thing was just a ruse? He's gonna give it a 4. All right, TJ.
I think it's a 3.5 for me. I really love it. I could see giving it a 4, but given how I know I've ranked the previous movies, I don't like it's not as good as 2, and I think 2 is probably a 4 for me. So I think it's 3.5.
Yeah. All right. Okay, dog.
Respectable.
Yeah, like I said, for me, the horror comes from him being a man, and when they take that away, it kills it for me. That's a me problem. I understand that, but as far as I go, that just takes me out of it. And it happened with the first kill of the movie when he shoves his thumb through that guy's head. I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is it. For me, that instantly became stupid, and I was pulled away from this movie. And I think that personally,
that's 5 minutes in too.
I think like 1 and 2 together as a whole movie is fantastic, even though I don't like 2 nearly as much as 1. And we discussed that when we talked about it, but I think as a whole, those movies are fantastic. And I can see the charm in 3, even though it's not my cup of tea. It was just, this for me just felt like they were just like they were ripping off 1. I mean, even the scene where he kills the girl by stabbing her to the wall. And most of the kills in this are boring. You don't really get to see them. They're kind of muted, considering
budgetary constraints,
which they did.
You can't say budgetary constraints because in 1 has one of the greatest kills
1.
ever, where he's dressed like a ghost with the glasses, and he goes over and kills her. That's hilarious.
Wait, K-Dog though. What's his name? The producer. I would say his name. TJ, what's his name?
Mustafa Akkad.
Yeah, him. He's actually notoriously doesn't like gore.
Yeah.
So like the gore that was added like later on during like test screenings when they were like they wanted gore and they wanted to see more of it. So
Probably the wrong franchise to buy.
Yeah, I was about to say that's very obvious then when you watch it and you realize that they toned down a lot of the
he was a Hitchcock fan. He wanted thrills more than gore.
And there is no gore in Halloween 1, you know.
Yeah, but there's still like there's some iconic kills, even though it's not bloody.
He does stab a dude to the wall.
Yeah, stabbing the guy to the wall. The ghost kill.
You can say that the suspense and the tension building up to those kills was probably more better done. And that's
I think that's why one is such an
yeah.
iconic film, especially to me. Like it's so well done in building the terror inside before it actually unleashes, because it's a long time before he really kills somebody. I mean, he kills the mechanic.
Yeah.
You know, that we don't really see that, but you know, he's already killed somebody. But it's just the build up to that. It's kind of there's other movies where it's like kind of the last 20 minutes, and this they're trying to like spread it out. And again, it just doesn't. It didn't sit well with me from, like I said, from the moment that he shoved his thumb through that guy's head and the rest of it. So, unfortunately.
So what you're saying is you didn't like the fact that they were doing fan service before fan service was popular, basically.
Yeah.
From the jump, they're giving you kills, and we're giving you this, and we're giving you that. We're giving you the greatest hits, and we're adding in some extra big.
Yeah, a lot of it felt.
It's like The Force Awakens is basically A New Hope over again.
Yeah. It felt almost like they just didn't want to make the movie, but they did it because they wanted to make money. Like the studio wanted to make money. But yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a 1. It's not a 0 because Mickey's Mousetrap. I can't imagine there's a worse movie out there that we're gonna watch in the next.
There isn't
40 years.
We'll find one.
That's a certified 0. That is a certified rotten film.
Things is worse.
I told you Things. The last 20 minutes of that movie cracked me up because of how terrible it was, and I would give that a 1 instead of a 0, just because when they start talking and the voices no longer match up and some of the dialogue is so dumb, I laughed my ass off at the last 10 or 20 minutes of that movie because of just how terrible it was. Mickey's Mousetrap is so bad, but it's so bad it's never good. There's no redeeming factors. The whole time you're watching, it's like, who greenlit this? Why is this a thing? Who paid money to have these people do this movie? Who wrote that? Why does everybody involved in this movie suck at what they're doing? That's Mickey's Mousetrap. Yeah, I can forgive a couple of guys trying to make a film that did terrible.
All right. So after all that gives us a 3.2. So that puts us at a 3 for Halloween 4. Sorry, boys. All right. That's it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to wherever you're listening to this podcast. Heather Haley, looking at you because you're one of the 2 people that listen and don't watch. I get why. But anyways, follow us on Instagram, join our Facebook group, TikTok. We have an Amazon Music playlist. And happy Halloween. We're recording this early, so it's probably going to be on the 27th and not the 31st. So have a happy Halloween from us. Vito, thank you again for hanging with us, and sorry about the assault that you received. Always a pleasure.
I'm a glutton for punishment because at this point you think I should just be expecting it, right? You know?
But we love you, Vito.
Next year's Halloween 5.
You better.
Can it get worse? We'll see.
Can we get Kellen back for it?
All right, signing off. I'm Jay with John, Kellen, TJ, and the one and only Vito Trigo. And until next time,
keep it spooky.